situation. I'll just would like to point out few structural and also policy issues that we need to take up as soon as possible. So, sir, as you see, the representation at this forum is also, mainly from the Population Welfare Department. And if you look at the contribution from a coverage point of view, it is about 33% of the total family planning, interventions that we see in Pakistan. So it's a very small part of the overall picture that Pakistan has to take care of, meeting the requirements of 35 million married women. What I'm saying is the Department of Health needs to be on the table. They need to be there because their allocations will make the difference. The Lady Health Progress Program, MNCH program, except for, I think, Punjab and Sindh, we don't see much development. Even when the secretary, Askar Saab was actually talking about the overall picture of commodity security in KPK, it was only, the Population Welfare Department. But again, I would say my submission is 25% or 20% of the overall women requirement of the situation. So we are not in a good shape at all, Excellency Janzeb sir. And the commodity security at this point in time, as Dr. Septam kindly alluded to in her earlier presentation, was basically that all of the 50% of the district warehouses and stores for everybody, like Lady Health Workers Program, LHW program, MNCH program, and Population Welfare Department, they are stocked out. And when you look at the LMIS data, thanks to USAID and Government of Pakistan looking at the larger picture of evidence to be used for transparency, we see the service delivery structure, including the family welfare centers and BHU, RSC, THU, 22% of the entire country. If you look at the 16,000 health establishments in the country, it's only 22%, they don't have any commodities. And when you look at the larger picture at the national level, where both the government procurements are actually, looking at the commodity security, we don't find much harmony. And I'll just take 1 minute on that as well, where President Alvi, Excellency, has been able to reinforce it time and again in all the federal, task force meetings, and what the chief ministers have been talking about, how we can actually achieve economies of scale, where I think I see, sir, your role, your leadership is extremely important, and I'm very happy that Dr. Shabnam has gathered all of us to reassemble on this agenda and revitalize this issue for the larger gains, both on national security and national health issues. So my last submission is, USAID is very kindly helping Government of Pakistan in two of this. We have been able to bring LMIS evidence and this technology with the Ministry of Information Technology, NTC, and the National Services. And the whole public and private sector is using LMIs thanks to the public sector. The other two important areas that we are working is, one is indigenous production, where we would like to see that some private sector partners, both from local and multinationals, are coming forward. And I know, sir, there have been two meetings where Excellency Razak Daud Sahab and Excellency Faisal Sultan Sahab, we were present at that meeting. And there are at least two local producers who have solicited their interest of bringing in technology, and there is a dialogue going on. So I believe, sir, even if some private partner commit to establish a plant in Pakistan for IUCD or implants or other commodities quantums, it will take at least 3 to 4 years to get all those things on the ground and start producing. So the next 3 years are very important. And I again, sir, I'll take you back to what Dr. Shabnam said. In her slide, it was obvious that Pakistan has lost at least 10 million CYPs this year in the times of COVID, sir. And on the average, Pakistan produces both public and private sector with almost 55-45% disaggregation from the two sectors that are working on family planning. So this is extremely important. That how are we looking at the role of procurements and indigenous production. So when you look at the commodity security for public sector, my apologies for being very blunt and open. As I said, sir, 55% of all district stores are stocked out. 22% of government facilities are stocked out, including the private sector, where there is no commodity security coming from either government or multinational partners which are ensuring supplies of commodities. So, sir, my submission is, I know, sir, this is also being discussed. Dr. Shahid, Dr. Shabnam, Dr. Faisal, they are working on developing a mechanism where pool procurement can be actually mechanized funds. And I believe, sir, 18th Amendment has its own benefits, but it has its, I would say, not disadvantage, I should say, but I think we find less reason sometimes, especially on strategic issues, to sit down together. And I see the most important suffering that we see is basically the population issues, where we see that, this is a fragmented procurement happening all around, as you heard from all secretaries that we have actually placed our order. But when you look at the economies of scale, Pakistan is losing about $500 million every year because fragmented procurement is not ensuring pricing factor, standardization of pricing for all provinces. So Balochistan is, procuring a quantum for worth of 5 rupees, and Sindh and Punjab are spending about 1.5 rupees a quantum. These are very important issues. My last recommendation is, sir, we can actually either on the lines of DRAP. DRAP is working as a central body to look after interest of national and provincial, governments on the side of the quality, and that can be one thing that we can see and apply it for the food. So this is one. Second is we can do some amendment, and the provincial assemblies and the National Assembly can come together, and they can pass, two things. One, that there should be a committee that should be developed. We actually had a consultation, sir, with legal experts who are managing public procurements within government, and we also consulted with PPRAs both at national and provincial level. They said the pool procurement is not an issue, but the issue is that that you can't have a single tender, and all the provincial governments probably need to float their tenders at the same time along with the federal government. So this is a very difficult task, and to take this forward, I think a committee has to be formed at the national level to bring all this together. So my last submission is this can be done through very important amendments in the PPRA rules, and those PPRA rules are governed by the national and provincial PPRAs. My submission is that if we can do an amendment in the PPRA rules that allows national or the federating units to do single tender on behalf of the whole country, either the national government or the provincial governments can do this. If this can be achieved, and this is not only for this should be applied for all procurements, in the times of disaster, provincial governments